I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. What's the point in trying if I'll just fail? These are the haunted whispers we hear from our teens, words laced with fear, dripping with confusion, and shadowed by failure. In 2025's split-second digital world, where every misstep can be broadcast and every comparison magnified, adolescents carry an emotional weight heavier than ever before. As a parent, you witness their struggle. Late-night tears over social media trolls, morning dread before exams, that glazed "I don't care" look, masking a storm of self-doubt. You ache to help, but the old rulebook, lecture, punish, reward, feels obsolete. The modern teenage landscape. Today's teens navigate a minefield of external pressures. On one side, social media comparisons whisper that everyone else's life is perfect. On the other, academic demands escalate. In the US, 30% of high schoolers report persistent hopelessness or sadness. Meanwhile, in Germany, 40% of youth aged 14 to 18 say they feel lost about their identity and future. Behind these stats lie the trio of invisible threats. Not only the fear of failure, but the fear of rejection, not measuring up, and letting others down. Questions about identity, purpose, sexuality, and life direction swirl with no clear answers. When every mistake feels final, public, and deeply personal, a humiliating brand rather than a stepping stone. But here's the key revelation. You don't need to fix every fear, clarify every confusion, or erase every failure. You need to be present in the right way, to validate their feelings and guide them back to resilience. Teens don't want advice. They want understanding. Most of us sprint to solve our teens' problems. We lecture on time management, prescribe study schedules, or dole out pep talks. Yet research in adolescent psychology shows that validation, feeling seen and heard, is the gateway to trust and open communication. Before you advise, you must listen to understand. Imagine your teen, Maya, tearfully confessing, "I messed up my presentation and everyone laughed." Your instinct might be to say, "Just practice more." But Maya needs first to hear, "I see how much that hurt you." It makes sense you'd feel embarrassed. These simple phrases validate her emotional experience, signaling, "I'm here, I get you." Over time, this builds an unshakable foundation of trust. Only after validation can you transition to support. Let's brainstorm next steps. And then to guide, here's a technique to manage nerves. The order is crucial. Validate, support, guide. A mother in Chicago spent weeks quietly listening to her son's fears about fitting in at a new school. She didn't interrupt, judge, or fix. She simply offered her presence. When her son finally asked for help navigating social circles, he did so with complete trust. Trust that would have been shattered if she jumped straight to solutions. Fear doesn't go away, it gets trained. Fear is not a flaw, it's a survival system designed to alert us to danger. But in the absence of training, fear morphs into paralysis. You can teach your teen to acknowledge fear as a signal of growth, not a barricade. Gradual exposure is the gold standard technique. Let's follow Liam, a 14-year-old in Toronto terrified of public speaking. His mother broke down the challenge into manageable steps. Read aloud at home for 2 minutes, record himself on a phone, present to a small group of friends, speak in front of family at dinner. Over 6 months, despite the fear lingering, Liam's confidence surged. He even delivered a TEDx youth talk. Fear still echoed in his chest, but it no longer stopped him. Failure doesn't crush teens. Shame does. The issue isn't making mistakes. It's believing that mistakes define their identity. When teens equate failure with personal worthlessness, they avoid risks and miss growth opportunities. Reframing failure. Teach your teen that failure is data, not a destiny. Use the anti-fragile mindset. Greater challenges lead to greater strength. Oliver, 17, launched an online t-shirt venture that flopped. His father didn't chastise him. He said, "You've learned more in these 3 months than most people do in 3 years. This setback is your training ground for genuine success." That moment reframed Oliver's narrative. Failure was no longer a humiliating endpoint, but a powerful lesson. Practice. After any setback, ask, "What did you learn? How will you apply this next time?" This simple debrief separates failure from self-worth and fosters resilience. Your teen has felt seen, begun to train their fear, and reframed failure as feedback. Now it's time to arm them with concrete tools and words that anchor these concepts into daily life. These practices transform abstract ideas into lived experience, helping your teen move from feeling lost to discovering resilience, clarity, and confidence. The Fear Journal, observing fear without drowning in it. Why it works. Fear gains power when it lives in the shadows. Bringing it into the light through writing makes it tangible and therefore manageable. How to implement. Dedicate 5 minutes each evening. Provide your teen with a dedicated notebook or a digital app. Prompt them to answer 3 questions. What scared me today? How did I react? What did I learn? At week's end, review together. Celebrate any steps forward and normalize lingering anxieties. In a study of adolescents coping with social anxiety, those who kept a structured fear journal for 2 weeks reported a 25% reduction in avoidance behaviors compared to control groups. One teenager wrote, "Seeing my fears on paper helped me tackle them head-on instead of letting them grow." The Mistake Map, turning errors into education. Why it works. Sharing mistakes in a judgment-free space shifts your home culture from shame to growth. How to implement. Monthly family ritual. Each member writes down 3 mistakes they've made in the past month, big or small. Gather in a relaxed setting. Each person shares their mistakes and, crucially, what they learned. Frame each story with empathy. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate your honesty. An Australian family reported that after 6 mistake maps, their teens began proactively discussing academic stumbles and relationship conflicts, seeking advice rather than hiding problems. Parents noticed a 40% drop in secretive behaviors and a marked improvement in problem-solving skills. Visible victories, building confidence, 1 win at a time. Why it works. Confidence is like a muscle. If you never notice your successes, it atrophies. A progress board makes growth visible and celebratory. Create a physical or digital board divided into wins categories: courage, connection, resilience, and learning. Each evening, ask your teen to post 1 small victory. I asked a teacher for help. Under courage, I apologized to my friend. Under connection. Review the board weekly. Celebrate with a high five, a special note, or a family shout-out. A middle school in California piloted visible victories in advisory periods and saw a 50% reduction in disciplinary referrals. Students reported feeling seen for trying rather than only for getting it right. What to say when they feel lost. Crafting their inner voice. Words wield immense power in shaping your teen's self-narrative. In moments of overwhelm, these phrases become your toolkit to plant seeds of hope, self-worth, and growth. You are not your mistakes. Separates identity from actions, a critical shift that dissolves shame. Your worth isn't based on achievements. Undermines the belief that only success equals value. You don't need to have it all figured out. You're in process, and that's okay. Validates uncertainty as a normal part of growth. I love you beyond results. Affirms unconditional love, the ultimate anchor against self-doubt. I don't expect perfection. I just want you to be real. Releases pressure and fosters authenticity. When Lucas failed to enter his dream university, his grandfather said, "You're not here to be the best. You're here to become fully yourself, flaws and all." Those words echoed in Lucas's mind, guiding him through subsequent rejections and ultimately leading him to a fulfilling career in design. Rotate these affirmations. Keep them fresh so your teen internalizes each message over time. Walking the talk. The power of presence. At the heart of every tool and phrase is the foundational principle of presence. Your teen needs a conscious, available, and emotionally grounded parent. Not a superhero who fixes everything, but a companion who validates and empowers. Listen more, fix less, resist jumping to solutions, reflect back their feelings. It sounds like you feel, am I right? Observe without invading. Notice shifts in mood or behavior and gently inquire. I've sensed you've been quieter. Do you want to talk? Guide without control. Offer options, not ultimatums. Would you prefer drafting a new plan or taking a short break? Love without conditions. Your unconditional support is the bedrock of their self-esteem. Have these tools and phrases resonated with you? Ready to deepen your support toolkit? Subscribe to Next Level Leadership for more transformative guides, parenting, leadership, and personal growth strategies designed for today's dynamic world. Share in the comments which tool you'll try first and how you'll make presence your family's superpower. Remember, your teen's compass doesn't need perfect fixes. It needs you, fully present, walking right alongside them. This is Next Level Leadership. guiding the next generation through life's storms, one supportive step at a time.